It's approaching the supreme moment. Reality striking closer than it seems, don't it? Go ahead.
What's good? Alright, so I've been grinding a little bit in the Extreme Z battle with the family Kamehameha. I did manage to get to level 80 and 90 and 100, so we'll just go through this one by one. And yeah, I mean, overall it wasn't too bad since I was fortunate enough to have the agility turles unit. No dude pass unlocked. This guy's at level SA level 1. I do have the cooler at 100%, so he definitely does come in clutch. The agility Golden Frieza also is at 100%. You know, one of the best units to tank in the game. And this guy is also very, very critical in terms of being able to keep going. This cooler, I mean, I just kind of filled him in there just because I needed another extreme agility type within the movie boss category to, you know, have type advantage and reduce, you know, damage as much as possible. So that's the format there. But yeah, I mean, before we get into it, definitely make sure to like the video, and if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Now, it is a little bit difficult, and I haven't tested this myself, for, you know, teams without the turles unit. I mean, I'm guessing, you know, maybe an extreme agility team might work, since it's formatted to where only villains do have that attack and defense bonus. If you do bring in super types, you're going to be at a severe handicap, so you know, that's kind of the setup there. I think, you know, maybe with an extreme agility team with, you know, Super Android 13 leads, they might be fine. Like I said, I haven't tested it myself. Fortunately, I have the movie boss category lead, so, you know, I haven't had to do that. So whenever HP goes below 50%, Tapion will transform into the Hirudegarn form, which, you know, is essentially you're not going to take any damage. And the good thing about this guy is once he actually transforms, he will change into an extreme type unit. So you'll see that he does have 6 ki filled up because of the double lead from the leader skills. So definitely does pretty well, and you can see he does a lot in damage, so it certainly helps out in terms of, you know, maximizing damage output, not having to take any damage. And you know, Tapion himself, he does have the ability to reduce damage by 50%, and then his attack will increase by, I think, 120 or 150%, you know, when HP is below 50%. So even after the transformation is done, he still can provide a decent amount of damage, even though he is a super type and he's got a handicap. I've seen him hit for about, you know, 600,000 with the critical. Yeah, with that kind of restriction. So yeah, he's definitely one of the clutch units to include in this setup, and I don't think I'd be able to get this far without him. The Golden Frieza is just as important too. I mean, he's, you know, everybody knows by now, but he can tank so well, and you know, he comes in clutch. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much stage 80. Not too bad there. You know, it does depend on, you know, making sure you got the setup right, planning ahead for the next round in case, you know, Tapion does transform. You got to go ahead and plan out, you know, the key allocations, make sure he's able to get, you know, super attacks as much as possible. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how 81 or stage 80 was. So we're moving on to stage 90 now. So I mean, it does get difficult, but not a whole lot of change in terms of the team setup. I mean, it's working pretty well for me so far. So, you know, I'm gonna stick with the same formula for the time being. I did think about replacing the agility cooler with the agility super Vegito, just to kind of minimize damage a little bit, but I did test around a little bit. He just comes across as too much of a liability at times. I mean, especially if the Goku decides to super, I mean, that's pretty much a one-shot kill if Vegito ends up taking it. So it's a little bit of a risk liability, so I kind of went with the safer option just to keep him in there. He does link pretty well with the other, you know, Frieza and cooler units. So I mean, he's you know, pretty much just there to fill in the slot basically. If I had better units, I'd certainly put better units in there. So yeah, I mean this transformation definitely comes in clutch. I mean it'll save a lot of HP, you know, a lot of headaches. So I did, you know, I gotta go ahead and, you know, get things set up to where, you know, he'll be able to super at least a few times just to get that HP down. You know, you're still looking at, you know, close to 7 HP bars still left, so you want to go ahead and, you know, deplete that as much as possible once the form's taken place. Otherwise, you know, it's gonna make things even more difficult, I guess. I mean, 1 million in damage output is more than enough, and it's gonna help out tremendously, you know, getting through these stages. So, you know, it's not really required to get to this level, but you know, I like to grind and I like to test out my capabilities sometimes. So, you know, hence why I'm shooting for that stage 100. I mean, it's always kind of fun to, you know, test yourself. You know what I mean? So, it's a good way to challenge and have a little bit of fun. So unfortunately, I only got 1 super attack this round, and then he'll, you know, go back to his, you know, normal Tapion form. I definitely do want to put him up front because he'll be able to tank. Golden Frieza, you know, unfortunately the HP is lower than 50%, so he loses that ability. And yeah, Tapion increases his attack by, I'm pretty sure it's 150% once the HP is below 50%. So, you know, you'll see, you know, 600,000 with the criticals, even though he is a super type and he's at a disadvantage. And, you know, the super attack received, he's only taken 21,000 in damage. I kept this guy in there because he can still hit pretty good. The Tech Cooler, he's a little bit of liability too. Like normal attacks, he'll take about 70,000 in damage. Super attack is pretty much a done deal, so you know it's all about luck at the end of the day, but at the same time he does provide enough damage to where it's worthwhile to keep him in there. I think with the criticals he can do anywhere from 1.7 to 2 million, so that is a lot of damage, so you know it's worth the compromise. Alright, this should do it here for stage 90. Yeah, 1.6 million. And the other thing I do want to note is Turles also has the ability to transform, so you know how that will increase attack and defense and then drops the enemy's defense by a ton of you know percentages. I think it was 80%, so you know it definitely does. There's a lot of combinations as to why this team is working pretty well for me at the moment, but alright, here we go. Stage 100. Finally hit the landmark target that I was looking for. So, yeah, after stage 30, you're only going to get the Hercule statues. I mean, there's no other really incentive to do that, but I guess it's nice to get Zenny to, you know, kind of save up a little bit. Yeah, and I wanted to do this now because it's only a matter of time before the friends and guests that are using Turles are gonna disappear. You know, before this event even showed up, there was very few people that actually ran him as lead. So, you know, it was a goal of mine to get to 100, and in order to do that, you know, had to do it now while people were using him as the leader. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with stage 100. Finally here. So. Pretty good start. Obviously gonna put, you know, Golden Frieza up at the top and then Tapion in the middle. Just want to keep him at least second in slot so he does come back the round after next in case, you know, the HP is already below 50%. You know, he'll go into the transformation. And for the Great Ape Turles, you only need at least a key meter of 10 to be able to get a super attack, so that definitely does help out as well. You know, as you can see, very little damage taken, and this guy can actually hit pretty well. So you saw there with the critical 951,000. I mean, that is definitely a good enough output to where it makes a difference. And I don't necessarily need Tapion to attack. He's mainly there to defend. That's his sole purpose. And I mean, if he's able to get a super attack, that's fine. But I'm not going to compromise other units' ability to super attack. Now, ideally here, I would put Turles up front, but I want to make sure he's got the ability to get a super attack, so I will put the cooler here. It's definitely a risk because he definitely takes more in damage, but I don't want to lose out on Turles being able to super, so we're going to go ahead and take that chance, especially since I have full HP. And hopefully Cooler will have a critical, and you'll be able to see his damage output. So yeah, this was definitely a risky move here. I'm guessing I have enough HP to survive the round, and then like I said, Tapion's coming back around, and he'll go into the Hirudegarn form, and we'll be able to breeze through it hopefully. So yeah, without the critical, 1.5 million in damage, so the output's good enough to where it's worth keeping him in the team. So additional attack definitely does help. 1.4 million on the first one, and then about the same amount. So only about 4 HP bars left, and like I said, going into transformation mode. So we'll be good to go. Just got to figure out how many keys he can collect. Looks like he'll at least be able to get 1 super attack, so that's good. And I definitely screwed up on that one. I should have just collected the yellow key first. That way the purple key would have been enough to get a super attack. But, it's whatever. Sometimes, in this fast-paced type of setting, it's a little bit difficult to make the right decisions, you know what I'm saying? So that's all good. I've got another round coming up, so hopefully we can finish it off. I don't know why they gave him the dodging ability. I mean, he's not taking any damage anyhow, so I don't know, it's a little bit unnecessary, but I guess it's all good. Alright, so I should be able to get 2 super attacks, and then depending on if there is a third round with this transformation, we'll be able to finish them off. If not, we'll try and get it done with the regular units. Alright, should be good. So there you have it, stage 100 cleared. Definitely took a little bit of time to grind. I was doing it last night, switching on and off between work. But yeah, definitely managed to beat it. And I don't know, I might see how much further I can get. But my goal was to beat stage 100, which I was able to do. So I'm pretty satisfied, for the time being. But definitely appreciate you watching. Hopefully, this gave you an idea what to expect, so stay tuned for next time.